So apparently, prior to his WWE release this past week, Jaxson Ryker had major backstage heat. This is according to Fightful Select. So according to this report from Fightful Select, Ryker, along with Wesley Blake, Steven Cutler, initially debuted on WWE as the Forgotten Sons, but the entire stable had been taken off of TV following continuous tweets from Jaxson Ryker in support of former President Donald Trump during the Black Lives Matter movement and the George Floyd-related protests last year. The report indicates that many backstage had an issue with how both Blake and Cutler had been taken off TV for something that Ryker had done, only for Ryker to return to TV and to WWE shows and get even a little bit of a push while his stablemates basically did nothing. And this makes a solid point. So not only for Ryker was there the heat of what he said. We know Mustafa Ali came out and was disgusted by Ryker's comments at the time. Kevin Owens as well. Multiple other superstars. Even Hangman Adam Page got in on the action. But bigger than that, people resented the fact, and I think deservedly so, that Jaxson Ryker, after having all this heat, and basically destroying and killing the whatever the Forgotten Sons were going to be, he was the one, even though he did the bad thing, he was the one to get the push while his stablemates got nothing. What do you kind of make of this news, of this heat?
That he didn't deserve that at all. He didn't deserve to be the one pushed when he was the one that made the slurs. I was actually surprised that he was still there. Anyway, me and you have been talked about Jaxson Ryker for a while and how we don't understand why he's still, anything in WWE. But he wasn't really even the most talented out of the stable. It would make sense if he was, but he wasn't. So to keep him over them, it doesn't make sense at all. It just goes to show you how much of a piece of shit the entity known as WWE has turned into.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing to say the least, right? Because usually in I guess just places in the just world, if you do a bad thing that upsets, the people you work with, that upsets community around you, and costs your teammates or whatever, or causes them problems, you would hope that the teammates wouldn't suffer for that, but that's exactly what happened here. The teammates, their push, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler, no one talks about them. You know why? Because their push died the day Jaxson Ryker sent those tweets. And what did Jaxson Ryker do? Jaxson Ryker came back after 6 months, did a honestly kind of tasteless PTSD storyline. I understand that he was formerly in the Army and all that, and that might lend him some leeway with that, but still, I didn't like the way it came off. I didn't like the way it came off. He killed Elias, which is something the fans actually liked. Like that was the entire storyline. He's the one who basically made Elias stop doing what he's doing. And again, that's more creative than Jaxson Ryker specifically. But he got this push. He got so much TV time over the past few months. And you could tell that he wasn't getting over. You could tell after the Thunderdome stopped, what happened, Trevor? No one was cheering for this guy because Kevin Dunn didn't have his finger on the button.
Nope.
Because no one cares. You don't make people care. He actually alienated a lot of the fan base the second he did that. Second he sent those tweets, made those statements. And I understand. Apparently he apologized to Mustafa Ali and others. And look, that is what it is. I genuinely hope that Jaxson Ryker is a better human being than he was a year ago. I genuinely hope that. I 100% hope that he has learned or whatever, but what I also hope is that if you are someone who has to suffer, if you work somewhere where you have to suffer for mistakes made by your teammates, right? But then your teammates don't have to suffer for the same mistakes. How does that make sense? That's what I want to know. How does that make sense at all?
Exactly. It doesn't.
Doesn't at all. Doesn't at all. Again, genuinely, and I might even get some heat for this. I genuinely hope Jaxson Ryker like becomes a better human being, or is a better human being than he was a year ago, and learns, because that's we should be hoping for that. We should be hoping for people to become better. That doesn't mean you forgive. That doesn't mean you forget. It just means you want society as a whole to learn and get better. That's what we should want.
Right.
Again, those aside, I don't know Jaxson Ryker personally. All I know is from what I've heard and what I see and what he said, and from what he said last year, not a fan. And honestly, from his work, I'll alienate all of that. Alienate all of the BS on Twitter that he said last year. I'm not a fan of his promos. I'm not a fan of his in-ring work. The only thing that he has going for him is the look. That's about it, honestly. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.